lies are actually kind. Do you look fat in this dress? No, you don't. Even though your friend looks fat, you tell them no to make them feel better.
Oh, hi! So what does Shooters ask today? Are some lies kind? White lies? Maybe. Sometimes, I guess, it's okay. White lies help you to maintain relationships sometimes.
Hey, what's up? Are some lies kind? Society forces us to lie. Most common is when people ask you how you're doing. Everyone says, I'm good, I'm fine. But most people usually aren't good or fine when they say that.
I have a Brit sense of humor sometimes where I'm very sarcastic to where someone says, I'm pregnant. And then everyone's like, oh, congratulations. And I'll say, I am too. You know, it's just like a joke. It's a white lie just to make people laugh.
Judas asks, are some lies kind? Yes, definitely. Korean people like, oh, 언니, 오늘 너무 이뻐요. This in France doesn't happen. Never happens.
Shooters asks, are some lies kind? I think sometimes, yeah. I think lying is kind. Yeah, I think it's okay. Your wife, you know, makes you a nice meal, but maybe it doesn't taste nice. And you say, oh, it was delicious, it was fantastic, okay? I think that's okay, right? You just don't want to hurt their feelings.
Welcome to the program, Shooters. Hope you had a great week. The world-renowned psychologist Paul Ekman has spent much of his career studying deception or the way people lie to each other, and he discovered that the average person tells a lie every 8 minutes for an average of 200 times a day. 200 times. But are all 200 of those lies good or bad? That's the question up for your panel today. Shooters asks, are some lies kind? We're going to have a roundtable discussion first and then try to come to a unified conclusion at the end. So let's begin with some opinions. Barry, when's the last time you lied?
When's the last time I lied? Well,
Be careful now, not to tell another lie.
Well, I think I completely agree with you. I think actually lies are a huge part of our lives. I think we tell lies all the time. And
really?
actually, yeah, absolutely. And, however, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's necessarily a problem, right? We all tell these lies, big and small, every day. And most of the time, these lies that we tell, they aren't bad as such, right? They're more just to grease the wheels of social interaction, just keep things ticking over. And if you think about business or family or relationships, or most of the spheres, you know, the areas that you operate in, lies are kind of built into that, right?
So what's the last lie that you told?
What's the last lie that I told? Honestly,
all of us, maybe?
I can't remember.
Ding, ding.
I can't remember, but I think that's just because I tell so many.
Oh, okay.
Sounds good. I can't remember. The last one may have been something. I think I might have told one of my co-workers she was wearing a nice cardigan because I wanted her to do something for me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyone else would like to try this?
Angelina? Yeah, white lies are harmless lies. And I think, especially like what do you think about my dress or things like that. I do that a lot with my friends because you don't want to hurt people, so.
So white lies are fine?
Yeah, harmless lies.
Travis?
Well, it's a well-intended untruth, right? But wouldn't you rather know the truth?
I mean, you
have someone to be honest with you so that you can trust them?
It depends on the relationship you have with that person. So if you're close, you're talking to your really close friend or sister or brother, I don't know, or husband, right? And you tend to be honest. You don't really need to protect yourself, or you don't really need to please the other part as much because you know that there's a strong relationship that actually combines both of you. But when you meet new people, I mean, you know, strangers or with your colleagues, I guess with people that you don't have that strong relationship, so you tend to be more politically correct and you tend to be, you know, aware of the socialities, I don't know, that goes along with meeting new people, so you use white lies.
I wonder if there's a difference between the cultures, because when I think, especially with Koreans, when we think of Americans, we think of Americans being very honest, forthright, sort of straightforward, you know, not, you know, dallying about the bush, and when it comes to saying what your opinions. So what do you think, Danny, about this?
I think Americans are really different depending on the person.
Okay.
But some people will get really upset about this issue, for sure. A lot of my American friends, like, if I say to American, for example, they'll say, where are you from? I'm from Michigan. Like, where are you really from? Like that. Oh, I'm from Detroit. And maybe if they don't know, I'm from a really small town. You know? And if they find out later I'm from a suburb of Detroit, they'll get like really upset. So some Americans have that personality that they enjoy pointing out how inaccurate you were, maybe. But others are really smooth as well, and it's just considered polite and a time saver really often. And that's how I look at it. I just look at it as very often it's delaying for better information. Like when it's something, the politeness thing I think is the same across all cultures, right? We use white lies to be polite,
louder,
but
from what I've experienced,
that's because
like,
we got more.
For example,
we have more important things to say.
know-
So turn the volume up.
Just let me finish. You know,
He has
like,
more important things to say. He's not gonna let
we
you
both
finish.
do performances, right? And you must get all these guys kind of telling you, oh, your show was amazing. And when Americans say that, they just kind of like make you feel like you're the superstar, world superstar. You know? They just so.
Oh, so they exaggerate it.
Exaggerate it.
inflate
It's
it.
crazy.
Yeah, have you seen the size of our like drinks and food? Like we exaggerate everything. We're the kings and queens of
Okay, yes,
exaggeration.
that's what you were going to say.
Yeah.
They do big white lies.
Yeah, but I just think in the end, there's something beyond social graces where there's times when someone asks you for your true opinion, and that's when you really have a tougher decision to make. Will you break into what you think is the truth about a situation, or will you delay or just kind of put that person off? And that's when I think it can be dangerous.
I think when you mentioned that Americans are very honest, I think Scandinavians are the most honest people in the world. They can tell you if you're, for example, when I was a child, I played at a friend's house. They can tell you like, oh, it's about dinner time, shouldn't you go home? Like they are very just straight honest. In a Chilean family, they would say like, oh, aren't your parents gonna call you, or like trying to, but they're very like super honest, which might hurt some people. Like many exchange students who came to Sweden have to explain some parts of the Swedish culture that is so honest.
That's very difficult in our culture because American culture is combined of so many.
Yeah,
so you never know what you're running into.
Yeah.
So some people are really shocked by how blunt certain Americans are, but then they meet someone else and it's
I
quite
was very
different,
surprised that
you know?
you had said that maybe Americans are a little bit more
Don't they have a
honest than
reputation?
Koreans, but living in Korea, do they not tell you when there's like a difference in your weight?
Yeah.
Or if you look different,
Yeah,
you get a
absolutely.
haircut? I find
That's
that
true.
a little bit more
Care,
blunt.
Travis. That's because they care.
True.
It's unadulterated truth in your face.
I have a mirror. I know if I have a bad day. Like, and they tell you, God,
Right, did you go drinking last night?
or like your dark circles.
Sick.
Your face looks puffy.
But I agree there is a cultural aspect to it. Some societies tend to be more like outgoing and honest regarding the things that they, you know, think about or their beliefs. Others tend to be more reserved. And I think even in the Arab world, there's also like kind of like in Korea, there's a hierarchy. So when you're talking to a person that is older than you need to be more respectful, right? Not exactly the same, not as complicated.
You got me. Yes.
Yeah, but you know, yeah. So
We all do that in our own
We
way.
do.
I think.
But actually, I have a question. If you do tell 200 lies a day, and let's say the majority of them are white lies, and they're to save face or to help smooth over these awkward situations, does it make it more likely or make it easier to tell the not so white lies, maybe to get out of a situation, to get out of trouble, to just take the easy way out? Does it become easier?
I don't
Since
think
you
so.
lie so often, you can tell us about that.
I don't think so. I think we all know when a lie is or isn't serious, okay? When something has real consequences, we know, right? We understand. So we understand when something, it's not going to cause any problems. But then we obviously know when a lie has real consequences, okay? If you're lying about an affair, if you're lying about something serious that you have or haven't done at work, we know when a lie is a serious situation.
Small lies,
Exactly.
maybe the big lie might slip.
Really? You think it
It's a pattern.
snowballs? You think it snowballs?
I think it does. It does affect your behavior. I
I'm
mean,
sure
in a way.
every single country must have this saying that says like
Exactly.
one lie
Yes.
Yeah.
One lie
What
begets
triggers
another.
others.
One
One
lie
of my
begets
favorites is
another.
if you don't lie, then you never have to remember anything.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to
Right.
remember the stories that you
So-
made up or the
Right.
stories you told. So
Yeah.
I think I was thinking about white lies, and one of the major white lies that we've grown up with is Santa Claus.
That is true.
Isn't it a white lie though? He doesn't really exist, but
Yeah,
it's to
sure.
encourage
Of course.
children. Like my parents are like, don't lie. Santa Claus is watching you.
Don't
Might
be
not.
naughty.
Yeah, that's a white lie. It didn't hurt us in any way, and it encouraged us somehow to be better children.
perfectly
That's a
benign.
belief, I guess.
Well, you know, I can relate to some of that. So for you, it was like
You
Santa
could call
Claus.
call
For us, it
religion
was
a white
like,
lie somehow.
yeah, it's true. Religion. No, for us,
'Cause it does
like
make
back
you
in
feel
Palestine,
better,
it was like
but-
peace, right? So for us, it's a white lie. It's like, huh? Where is it? I've never seen it. It's something that I've only heard about, like seen on TV.
It's not even a white lie. It's
It's-
more
It's a harsh lie.
It's true that
It's
it's
a
true
bad
that
lie.
most, I think, literature or cultural sort of movies also that's dealt with lying, they tend to say that you shouldn't lie, that lying in general is frowned upon. But of course, there's one day in the year that, you know, lying is not only permitted, but it's encouraged, and that is, of course, April Fool's Day. And April 1st, I actually heard that it's originated in France. Jan, do you know about this?
Yes. Oh, it's it's kind of an interesting story. Basically, the new year used to start on April 1st, and the king actually
This is
wanted
back in when? When
in
was
1550,
16th
something
century?
like this. Around that. 10 or more years.
century
10 or more
somewhere,
years.
yeah.
And then they changed the date from April 1st to January 1st. And some people were against it. So they used to tease each other, do kind of little tricks. So that's why it's
And then it
stayed.
blew up to this. I mean, haven't you heard about these like outrageous pranks for April 1st?
Every
I mean,
year.
as teachers, don't you have pranks played upon you every April 1st? No?
You know, I don't think I've had any pranks played on me by students, by my parents when I was younger, or by my sisters.
Okay.
But they weren't really lies so much as vicious, violent assaults.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So they weren't really based on lies or lying.
Sorry
but,
to bring that up.
No, it's okay. But we told my dad one day the car had been stolen as an April Fool's joke. But he wasn't amused. He didn't see the funny side of it really.
Did you do the pregnant one? I did that with my mom. I said my girlfriend was pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
She went crazy.
My parents pulled a big, huge white lie on me, but it was during Valentine's Day. And when it happened to me, at first, I couldn't get over it for about a week. I was kind of mad at them. Basically what had happened is I broke up with my high school sweetheart, and this was my freshman year in college. And I hadn't been on one date the entire year. And on Valentine's Day, I checked my campus mail, and I got this pink envelope, and it said, "From your secret admirer." Okay? So I take it, and I'm getting very excited. I open it up, and it said, "I've noticed
for your
you
parents.
in class. Have you noticed me?" And that's all it was. And so I'm thinking in my mind, I'm going to classes for that next week, and I'm maybe oddly looking at uncomfortably some other girls, and they're feeling uncomfortable.
Eye contact.
Exactly. But a week later, my mom calls me, "Hey, did you receive our Valentine?" My parents had sent that to me because they knew I wasn't going on dates. So
That's
I was
gnarly.
kind of
That's dark.
That's cruel.
That's
That's
dark.
Can they
they were upset. So you said they were vicious.
They were
I
just
felt mine
trying to help
psychologically was
you.
extremely
They were trying to
vicious.
be nice.
But that's not a white lie, really. That's a black lie.
Yes.
Okay, well, today, so we're talking about lying and when or if lying can be justified. Let's take a look at the online poll that we had on our homepage. we put the question, are some lies kind, to our online viewers and asked them to take part in this poll. And actually, it was overwhelmingly in favor of yes. 71.4% said yes, some lies are kind, and 28.6% said no. And we have some comments here from Turkey. Barry one wrote that sometimes it's just being kind. And then, actually, he wrote, maybe sometimes it's being kind. And one person from Morocco said, sometimes we have no other choice but to tell a lie to avoid getting into endless, leading nowhere arguments. Are you guys surprised?
I agree with that.
I'm
yeah.
surprised.
But also, I think when a white lie is being told to encourage another person, that is a good lie, a white lie. When you encourage another person, that
See,
maybe...
that's my problem. I don't think lies can be positive, right? You owe it to yourself and to the person that you're talking to be honest, because either way, you have to be true and like honest towards the person that you're talking to. I mean, what if
You can be
they could
kind to the
use
person
that
without
honesty?
lying to
But
them.
it depends on the situation. If you have a child that is overweight and is being bullied at school, like, Mom, am I fat? You're not going to be, yes, you're fat. Be like,
If
oh,
it's
maybe
my
you
child,
should. But
I
you-
mean,
you should
A
encourage them.
little
But
bit.
no, like,
Mom, you know.
I don't know, I think though when you're encouraging someone, which is what you just brought
Yeah.
up, you can use a white lie as like creative myth making. Like, what
Yeah.
would you tell to the
Yeah.
if you're a basketball coach and you know that your team is the weaker team, for
Yeah.
example, you wouldn't just lay out the stats because you would tell them 100% that they could win, because otherwise you're
That would
giving
be
up.
misleading
but you're
them.
giving
But what
up-
happens
hold
if
on,
they
hold on, though.
lose
If,
and they
well,
crash?
no, but I would, any good coach would coach the team for the win. Because to lie, to tell them what you think is the truth is cutting off
Yeah, but if
a
it's
future.
coaching
Hold on,
for
but
the
it's
win.
but it's cutting off a future possibility that you don't know what the real possibility is in that kind of case. So people can go overboard with
So
that. But I think
that's
it's
not a
very
lie
key.
then.
I think
It's a white
I
If
think
lie.
they,
coaching,
if they
you
can
know,
win, then they're obviously not the weakest team. If you think they
if
can,
they're
they
the
can
weakest team, well, regardless, even if they're
Yeah,
the
but what if you
strongest
think
team,
they
you
can't?
need to be honest with them regarding their abilities and what things they can do and what things they can't do, so they can improve in the
What is-
future.
what
you
is
know,
honest?
if I tell
Yeah.
my like the team that I'm like training for a debate tournament or whatever that they're great and they're not, I'm misleading them. It's my fault. I need to tell them that you're good. You need to improve 1, 2, 3, and this is how you
But,
will achieve you know,
an,
a good
an
result.
encouraging way of saying something doesn't have to mean we're misleading them, but you can say things around it. For personally, like, I was overweight when I was a child, and my parents told me maybe you should play basketball, and so I did, and that helped. But if they would have told me when I was 8, you're fat, that would have hurt me so much.
No, of course, of course.
But they
maybe
were
you should
telling
play
you a white
basketball, it's
lie.
not
They
a white
just
lie.
Honesty
mentioned
doesn't
something else.
Yeah, honesty
Yeah.
doesn't need to be hurtful. You know,
But
It
what
can be-
about
That's white lies.
We talked about, Noor, you said that with the most personal relationships,
Yeah.
maybe it's easier or healthier to be completely honest. But haven't you had those experiences when it's the person closest to you, whether it's your boyfriend, girlfriend, or your husband, or whoever, and you're in an argument, like this Moroccan person said, and sometimes you see this argument is going nowhere, and you know it's only going to end when one of you says sorry, and maybe you don't think you did anything wrong, but you say, okay, I'm sorry. Have you
That's
ever?
wrong.
You say that's wrong.
Yes.
So it's just
No,
Because
it's not
that's-
wrong.
it's
just
gonna
saving
arise.
time.
saving
Just saving
time.
time and energy. Well, you want to like take it to the bitter end, like you just never be
If
friends
it's
with
if
them,
it's a
like-
girlfriend, for example, like what's the point in staying with someone that you can't
Yeah. Be honest
fully
with.
understand?
True.
Like,
Yeah, but what's the point in staying with someone that you can't like come to a
Exactly.
mutual understanding with?
exactly.
No,
that's
still,
what
I
I'm
mean, you
saying.
don't have to agree on everything. My husband and I debate for like
I,
days on topics.
I want to agree on
And-
everything, or at least understand why she's not agreeing.
no. But if she has a grievance against you and she says, Jan, you did this and this and this wrong. Do you understand? Do you know what you did wrong? And you don't agree that it was something wrong. Are you going to say no?
Yes.
Would you would argue?
I would argue until the end.
You'd argue.
I would not. I would not compromise on something
I-
that I don't think is.
I don't do that at all. Yeah, I'm the opposite. Like especially with my band, like we have a lot of arguments and tense situations, but we're all really committed. And when things get really, really heated, and if we're really at a point where we're yelling, like me and the drummer, we had a moment a year ago on the street, we're just yelling at each other, and we both knew that we were right. He knew he was right. I knew I was
Exactly.
right, and we just said, all right, let's just stop this then. Like,
It's like
end of the
agreeing
day,
to disagree.
Yeah,
end of the
agreeing to
day,
disagree.
end of the day, I want to keep going with you and
Yeah,
with
but
this
you didn't
band. You know what
do
I
But
mean?
did you
White
So-
lie,
say
you just
sorry?
stopped.
Did you say
yeah,
sorry? I was
we
wrong.
both said sorry, and then we just worked backwards because we set the tone that ultimately we want to still do this together. You know what I mean? Like instead of having it be a make or break and then peel it back from there.
You didn't say you were right. You kind of said, okay, we both.
Yeah, we both.
So that's
Barry, I'm going to put you on the spot. Since I know
Go
that
ahead,
you're
put me on the spot.
Since I know that you're going through a sort of it could be quite a stressful time preparing for an important event,
Yes.
and you have a lot of things that you have to decide on. Sometimes you may not agree with your fiancé. Do you kind of
Who
go
will
with
be
the
watching
flow?
this, of course.
Yes. Are you honest, or do you just kind of say whatever you choose, dear? Or
Well, occasionally, from time to time, I think you just acquiesce just to ease the path, right? I mean, I don't think most adults couldn't handle the unvarnished truth in every social interaction, right? That's just
For
not
sure.
possible, right?
right.
You just can't live like that.
Jan was just giving you this look.
So from sometimes, and please forgive me if you are watching, sweetheart. Sometimes, from time to time, I will just that's the best decision. Just go for it, whatever. But normally it might not be something I'm hugely invested in. Why do I feel like I'm digging a hole for myself here? I'm trying to say.
find the right word. Take your time.
No, from time to time, I think built into every relationship, even with someone who you love with all your heart, you do from time to time, you will
Lie a lot. I finish your sentence.
you will say things which aren't necessarily true just to be kind.
Can I try to save you here a little bit?
White lies.
So I think often a white lie is just delaying for better information, and that's when people get into a lot of trouble. So if someone says to you, for example, what do you think of my new girlfriend? And you've only seen her once, but you're thinking, I'm not so sure
Previous
about her.
one was better,
Just hold
yeah.
it, press pause, say, okay, she seems great, and then assess the situation. And after 2 or 3 weeks, if you really think that this is something that you need to go into deeply with your friend, then you've got nothing to lose by bringing it up then. But sometimes you just need to wait for better information.
You can still get
can't you
around
just
actually.
say-
but you would
having
you would
a white
lie before
You can
that,
say
right?
I'm not really sure. And
Yeah,
you can meet her a
let me-
couple more
I
times.
haven't known her for
So
that
many
long.
different things
So
you
you
can
can
say
say so many
without lying.
Right. Jan, so are you saying you've never lied to your girlfriend? Jan?
No, I've done it, but I don't think it's good. You know, I don't
He's not
think
proud
it's,
of it.
Yeah, I'm not actually with my my current girlfriend. I don't think I've ever lied to her.
Ever lied at all?
No, because when she asked me, "Am I beautiful?" I say, "Yes, you are beautiful." Because you're beautiful.
So this is how you do it.
No, but I don't think you can build a great relationship if you put all these little lies that kind of go together in a big lie.
Okay. Well, it seems like you all have very opinionated thoughts about this issue, so I'm going to put it to the vote right away. Let's ask the question is, are some lies kind? Who of you think yes, some lies are kind?
Well, that was obvious.
Time to go into the armory. The yes side will go over here, and the no side over here to gear up and get your artillery.
Sort of its own.
White lies are harmless lies, okay? So that's totally different from a malicious lie, right? So we need to stress.
A white lie in Spanish is to encourage another person.
We all do white lies in job interviews.
You tell her that she looks beautiful so that she feels better at the party and she feels more confident, or to someone before stepping into like a big
meeting or
situation, a
something,
meeting.
And and to
You
be
know what I
honest,
mean?
a person with confidence looks good in whatever she's wearing.
Exactly.
I'm very sensitive. If people would be super honest with me all the time, I would be so sad.
Right, some lies definitely.
Some lies are kind of, we can kind of stick to that.
Run over by a car. My roommate has.
Noise persist.
Hey son, I gotta tell you something.
Harmful for you. So if you do it, where do you draw the line?
These little white lies, if they add up, it could ruin your life. That's like the worst case scenario.
If you lie a lot, then there's a higher possibility of people detecting your lie.
Lying becomes a habit.
White lies are
Lying
supposed
is not
to be.
kind.
They seem as
They
kind.
seem as kind, but they
they're
can
not.
hurt yourself and others.
Yes, they are harmful to you and others.
So shooters, you're armed and ready now to poke some holes into each other's arguments, hopefully. You each begin at 100% convinced of your own side's argument, but you have a gauge to track any change in opinion during our debate. So every time the opposing team says something reasonable or persuasive, you press on the minus. If you find your own team member says something very persuasive, you press on the plus button. Only the viewers and I will be able to know where your stance is at the moment, and we'll continue until one side wins or we've received a tie. So that's bullseye. We're going to begin with some opening statements, and as always, we're going to begin with the yes team. So who'd like to begin?
I can begin. We said that yes, some lies are kind and they play an integral role in our social relationships.
Okay.
So not all lies are kind, but some are.
All right, very basic. Just answering the question. Would you like to add anything to that?
Well, kind lies are white lies that are harmless and are also to encourage other people. Yes.
That's right. And essentially, I think we have to recognize that sometimes people just aren't ready for the truth, okay? Not everybody can handle every truth all the time. So we have to choose our battles, right? We have to mitigate the times when we
Someone was convinced right then, yes.
when we tell lies, okay? So not everybody can handle every truth all the
See,
time.
I find that a little bit patronizing, right? Saying that people can't really handle the truth and they're weak, and this is why we need to lie to them because we want to protect them. We're doing this for your own sake, right? I think it's. I don't agree with that at all.
No.
I think it's offensive.
At all?
I think it's offensive. I think it's patronizing.
Do you think it's offensive and patronizing?
And I think we owe it to others and to ourselves to be honest.
Have you been? You've been living on the same planet, though, right? Because what you're saying is just
most of my life.
I mean, not a tenable argument for an adult to have, okay? And I'm not even going to let you get away with it, okay? Well, your position is inherently nonsense, okay? And if you're going to try and argue 100% that lying there isn't at any point a kindness, it's preposterous.
Are you going to talk to? Are you going to let him talk to you guys like that?
Yes, because
yes, really cute.
he's very annoyed. I can see that, right?
Cute. Nice shirt.
No, not because we're adults. We're going to go above that barrier, right?
Okay,
and what we're going to say is that we believe that people are strong and people can handle the truth. And being like actually deciding for other people that, you know, maybe I should lie to you on that point it's not my decision. I should be honest, and I need to be upfront with people, especially when it's important decisions, when things are important, right? And you know, that's why.
I mean, have you ever seen the movie?
Agree with you. I'll agree with you that when it's important decisions, we have to be 100% truthful. But our point is, sometimes you got to do it. Sometimes.
I mean, have you imagined a world without lies? I mean, I know it's been portrayed in movies, right?
That's
like
right.
Liar, Liar, and the invention of lying. Have you seen those movies? Do you think it's possible that we could actually go there? Is it a good thing?
Well, I think lying, when he was lying to his kid, was actually far more worse, right? We need to be honest because it's honesty, I think, and is the best policy, not for only for myself, but also for others that I deal with. So yeah, this is why I believe we you know, the No team believe that there's no such thing as white lies, right? It's not just something that is superficial, and it's okay because at some point you get used to it and then you make a habit out of it, and then you keep lying not only to others, but also to yourself. So you also lose a part of yourself because you can't really express your own feelings and beliefs.
But that habit that you just mentioned, the habit that you build, is often just the habit of being polite and also not judging too quickly. Because hold on,
you
sometimes
can still
judging
be polite
too,
and be honest.
but you can also judge too quickly and think that your honesty is a truth that it isn't yet. Making a snap judgment and saying, now here's a difference between truth and honesty.
But that's being judgmental.
Really
this is a different thing. We're saying that you need to be honest. If I don't know, then I should say, I don't know. You know, I can't tell you yes or no if your cooking is good or if your look is
But you
nice.
have an opinion about the cooking, it's bad or not, but you're saying, I don't know, that's a white lie.
Yeah, right.
Why? I mean, well, in cases you don't really know.
Are you guys supporting white lies?
Well, Nora just said you don't think there is such a thing as a white lie.
I think it's misleading and it's, you know.
Travis, you're awfully quiet. What do you think?
Well, when it comes to white lies and just lying in general, it can serve as a gateway into making lying a little bit too easy. I don't want to argue this point. The point that I wanted to make, I know you're snickering
just
with
acknowledged
the face. But let's say too extreme. When do you stop? When do you stop telling these white lies? Like you have a kid, and he wants to be an NBA star.
Yeah.
And he's practicing hard every day. And as adults, we watch a lot of basketball, and we know he doesn't have maybe the skills that's going to lead him to be, or maybe even the genetics to be able to be an NBA star. So at what point do you stop using those lies? Because if he has a mindset that I'm going to be an NBA star, and he puts all of his energy into it, he doesn't really care about music, or he doesn't care about doing his schoolwork, and one day he finally realizes down the line, maybe because he gets cut from the team, or because
for
whatever
asking,
reason.
at which point do you tell him the truth?
Where we are encouraging that, okay, maybe you don't necessarily say a white lie, but maybe you still encourage without lying.
Okay, I got a question for you. What about when that kid was 5 or 6, and you and, like, just to roll with your example, when that kid's 5 or 6 and you and your wife both think, oh boy, I don't think he can make it to the NBA, because most kids won't be able to.
When he's 5 or 6,
finish.
you're not.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Maybe you think it's too early to know, but you'd probably still have a gut opinion. You probably still will say, do you think it's possible? You probably will say, I don't know. Right? There's times when I think you have to, where we say you have to delay that. And that.
Probably can't even hold the ball.
Okay, when would you make?
It's too early.
Yeah, but
Okay,
what about 10? What about 12? What about when there's a point as a parent when you think he's 12, he can't make it, and what if later he grew a foot like Michael Jordan did when he was 15, for example? Like in that case, that puts you in a tough situation.
Okay, I think we need to clarify something, right? Being honest doesn't necessarily mean being judgmental. Being honest doesn't necessarily mean you being impolite.
What would be
being
your
honest doesn't necessarily mean being discouraging, right? You can still be honest, but you can still be
That's
polite.
pretty discouraging to say. I don't think that you could do something.
What
when you
Statistics and the
What we're
percentage
saying-
of making it as an NBA is this high, but you can do it. You've got this.
As an answer
fine,
to
you
what
can't
you're saying
really
is,
know.
we
It's
don't
too
want
early.
to tell our kids white lies. We want to encourage them
what would you tell them?
completely.
So what would you tell them?
100%. Yes, I think that you're going to become good if you practice more. Let's shoot around. Avoid saying a lie.
That's a white lie.
It's not a white
it's
lie.
not.
If I'm going to practice with my son
So are you
and say, let's
saying
go
you said
shoot,
that you don't
if
think
your
you would?
son asked you outright, Dad or Mom, can I become an NBA? If I practice real hard, you think I can become an NBA player? Are you going to skirt around the issue? And is that
it's not
then telling a
skirting.
white lie?
I would
No, he says yes or
Anything
no,
is
Dad.
possible.
Yes or no, Dad.
Anything is possible.
Yes or no? You're
But
going to
let's
say anything is
practice.
possible?
Anything
But you're
is
not telling the
possible.
truth.
I'm not
That's
actually
exactly right.
making a lie, though.
I guarantee that you will tell each of your children, if you have them at some point, you can be anything you want. You can walk on the moon, you can dance the ballet in Moscow, whatever they ask you, right? You're going to say, yeah, you can do anything, okay? Maybe when they start hitting 15 years old and it's like, okay, this kid's not going to make it to the MBAs or something, I'm going to have to set them straight, right? But up to a certain point, you're going to tell them, grow your dreams, cherish your dreams, you can do anything,
Okay.
right? And that's essentially a white lie for
That's
kindness
not
and for
white
encouragement.
lie.
Why is
That
that
the
a white
fact
lie?
that
That's
they
a lie
can
for
do,
kindness.
I believe that
okay?
people
It's
can have the potential of accomplishing so many things. That's not a white lie.
I'll give you an instance where I would want to be told a white lie, and where I was kind of told a white lie. So I was about to go on stage with my band, and I had to give like an impromptu speech introducing someone there. And so I went and gave the speech, and I wasn't prepared for it all. I didn't know what to do. And I did my best, and I walked off the stage, and Pat looked at me, and he was like, I said, how'd I do? And he said, you rushed it. And I was like, I'm sorry, did you say I crushed it, or did you say I rushed it? And he was like, I said you crushed it. I said you crushed it. And I was like, did you say rushed it or crushed it? And he was like, crushed. So I was like, okay, sweet. He said I did good. And then we went and we played the show like right after that, right? And we had a really good show. And when the show was done, I said to him, like, what did you really say? Because I honestly didn't know what he said. And he was like, no, I said you rushed it.
Yeah.
But I thought, I'm not going to tell Danny just before he goes on that he just rushed the speech, because we're going to have a good performance. And it was super funny, but even somewhere deep down, I kind of thought he said I rushed it, because I knew it wasn't good. But
You needed
it
that
really,
white lie.
It really helped.
That's a
and, like, if he
perfect
would,
example, though, right? So, Noura, you're the drummer, okay? What do you say? What do you tell Danny, right? When he says,
It's a beta structure.
so how did I do? What do you say? You rushed it or you crushed it?
We'll talk
wanted to
about it
say
later.
rushed it,
No
right?
time right
Talk
now.
about
Diversion.
Yeah, we have to
No
go on
time.
stage. No time later.
So you're going to leave him thinking and like just stewing over, did I do a good job
but
or did I do
now
a bad job?
will you trust whenever you ask him, did I do good? You'll be, oh, he's probably going to lie to me.
Well,
it impacts
he
people's
told me after.
It impacts people's personalities, right? You know the people that always tell you you're amazing.
Yeah.
You must have them.
Like,
and you know they're not telling the truth.
I have them.
And you know, and you will never have a business relationship with them because they just
I think
licking your boots.
I totally agree. I think oftentimes the people that give you the most compliments or give or encourage you the most are often using white lies just to try to get from you,
usually
or
incompetence.
Yes,
it's the lowest form of right, like
the lowest form of. So
lowest
every
form of
single
trying to,
person
like,
on the planet
grow
is the
up.
lowest form of.
I was with
person
you for a
on the
while
planet.
there.
Every single person.
It's
who's
true.
Very,
For me,
he just got married. It was a one-time thing, a very big mistake on her part, and she
Pleasant
implores, Bear, and she
Yeah.
implores Travis and everyone else to say it was just one mistake, and please don't tell Barry.
So, well,
Can I tell this white lie? I mean, I'm being kind
That's not a-
because
that isn't
I'm
a white-
sensitive
that's
to
not a
your
white-
devastation.
That's not a white lie, man. That's just a lie.
that's
covering up
just
for
a
something.
lie.
I don't know. Okay, then
It's for
define white lie to me.
protect
Because
the
we're
secret.
all adults here. We should know the difference, right?
Yeah, I
But
know
you're
the
not knowing the
difference.
difference of like marriage.
Then why are we in disagreement?
No,
we don't know the
well,
Yeah,
we
you
all
come
think
here.
that it should be said in that case. We all think that the friend should tell Barry
So
the
when
truth in
should
that
we
instance.
lie then?
even if it's
When
just
do you
one
suggest
time,
that white lies are good?
I'm saying a white lie is okay, like
there
with
was
my
two
drummer in that situation. I think a lot of it's time-based. I'm talking. Usually, these are things, in my opinion, that are not malicious, that don't have dire consequences. Another example would be like if I'm going out the door with my girlfriend and we've only got 1 minute, and she says, or any person says to me at the last minute, how do I look? I feel like I look terrible, but we're about to go to a big event that's really important, and we both have to be charming. I'm gonna say, no matter who I'm with, you look great, it's gonna be a great night, boom and go, because there's no time to redo anything, and then later, if she really felt bad about how she looked, then we could break into it later, but that's not the moment.
But usually confidence
You know.
overshines whatever
And
you're
your
wearing.
confidence overshines
That's
it,
very
yeah.
limited example, right?
Well,
I
we're
think-
talking about
so
our
in between-
some truth,
Yeah.
some
So I
white
think
lie.
in between, like being a people pleaser all the time and having to tell white lies all the time, and then having to like differentiate between, okay, when do I need to be honest, or is it okay for me to lie if someone's girlfriend or wife or husband is cheating on them or not, or on the other side of the spectrum, being always confrontational. I think there's somewhere in the middle that we need to establish that area, right? So of course, I mean, we believe that white lies, if it's done continuously and it becomes a habit, it's harmful for you and for the other people.
Let me give you a situation. What if you were in a car with someone and this other person is driving and that person is very famous, very socially renowned person, and the person maybe had a drink or two that would send them over the limit, and you get caught for drunk driving. Now, do you lie and cover up for this person because, they're just over the limit, they just had a couple of drinks, but if they did get caught, this would be a huge social consequence, their name would be ruined forever, et cetera, or do you just kind of cover for that person? No. It wasn't a serious.
It's a good question.
That's in regard to the law, right? Is that for the greater good?
It's
I would
just
just
sacrificing for the greater good.
In that case, I mean, if it was my friend, I would definitely
Lie?
take up for them. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Barry?
Well, I suspect that's not an innocuous lie, okay? And you're talking about something illegal, so I'm not lying in that case. Yeah, I'm not lying.
You throw your friend under the bus, man?
Well,
It's saving your career and a lot of heartache.
I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, if I knew they'd had a drink, then I wouldn't have been in the car with them in the first place.
Oh, you're so sensitive.
Well, okay, just for the record, so that none of our viewers or the shooters get any wrong ideas. It is illegal to do that, of course. And if you do cover up and you get found out, you have to pay the same fine, and you get punished just as much as the actual person behind the wheel.
Trying to trick us.
Okay, yeah.
I'm glad this was hypothetical.
Danny.
Anyway.
Let's go to the VCR to see what the ordinary person on the street thought about this issue.
무조건 거짓말이 다 나쁜 게 아니라 사람들 뭐 기분도 생각해서 나쁜 게 의도가 아니면은 저는 괜찮다고 생각해요.
선의의 거짓말도 좋긴 한데 이제 선의의 거짓말이라고 해서 이게 근데 그 상대방이 알게 되면은 배려라는 것도 다 없어지는 것 같아서 결국은 거짓말?
살 날이 얼마 안 남은 혼자 두 사람들한테 굳이 그런 거를 자기가 병했다는 걸 알리면은 그 사람이 그 남아있는 시간을 좀 괴로워하는 데 쓸 수 있다고 생각이 들어서
상대방 기분을 그래도 나쁘진 않게 하는 것이 좋다고 생각하기 때문에 선의의 거짓말이 필요하다고 생각합니다.
정도가 심해지면 배려보다는 그게 피해가 될 수 있잖아요. I think when they found out it was a lie, then I think they will forget about it.
So the street poll saw a slight majority in favor of the yes team, of course, and I don't know how your opinions changed during that VCR, but one interview kind of stood out. They said that if the intention is good, then it kind of justifies the lie or justifies a white lie. I know you guys agree with that.
That is a Korean, I believe, what would we say it? Old saying where it was kind of like 거짓말도 방편, which is
like a
like
shield,
or it justifies the lie.
And you agree with this?
Well,
my problem is, I mean, only thing that I have, like, I think is problematic about this statement is that you can't really measure intentions. How do I know when the other person's intention is good and they're actually lying because, you know, they're trying to save me from, I don't know, being a little bit upset, or they're lying because they're misleading me, and or they're patronizing me, or, you know, if something is wrong, I would like to know because, you know, I want to improve maybe in the future.
I mean, Danny, you talked about an instance where you found out later that your bandmate was lying to you. And I don't know if that's the right example, but when you do find out that you've been lied to, sometimes does that sort of negate all that kindness that's associated and, you know, the consideration that comes with a lie, a white lie?
Again, like I think a lot of this has to do with friendship and how close you are to the person. And with me, I can think of times where my friend told me something consistently where they had supported me. And they say to me afterwards, actually, man, I didn't actually know if you could do it, but you did it. And I was like, man, you told me the whole time that you didn't think I could, you know, or that you thought that I could. I mean, the whole time they were supporting me, and the result for me was good in those cases. I kind of thought, well, thanks for not telling me because I knew I was going to make it. And I did, you know, I didn't really need you to do otherwise, so thanks for having faith in me.
But if like it was something, maybe like a music video that you were working on or a guy that you were dating and everyone said, yeah, positive things, but afterwards they say, yeah, actually, you know, it was terrible.
That's a problem,
If the results were negative.
But I come to a certain stage in my life that I have a group of diverse friends. I know which ones are very honest and I know which ones give me the white lie sometimes. So when I want my honest opinion, I know what friends to ask.
Yeah, that's a good.
When you want to just feel good. And
I'll just ask my friends. It's just like, you look good, girl. I'm like, okay.
So you're able to pick and choose.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems also, like people triggering the white lies. People shouldn't even
I need the
ask.
white lies though.
You know, like when you know you're not looking really good, you should not ask, how am I looking today?
Every person is different. Like we all have different personalities. I need those lies sometimes.
So sometimes you're not really lying to others. You're lying to yourself.
That's exactly our stance.
But it's an encouraging
that when you're
I
lying,
need
you're lying
for the
to yourself
moment.
too.
Yeah, it's harmful to everyone when you lie. It's harmful to you and it's harmful to
So you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't agree at all.
Yes,
I think lying in this sort of everyday innocuous lies that we tell ourselves all the time, every day, we need those lies just to get by. Generally, if we just dealt with the unvarnished truth, with the void screaming in your face every day, right? When you're not, when you don't have these sort of simple lies which just form the basic structures
It's comfortable,
of
it's easy, but if you have it straight in your face, you can do something about it.
Yeah, but also it's important for personal change, I think, as well. Like if you want to change who you are, you want to change your identity or like become more as a person. You oftentimes have to build we're calling it a white lie right now, but in some way it's just having faith in a possibility that you can't see right now. So, I mean, like when I learned Korean, for example, I just identified myself really quickly as someone who can speak Korean well, even though I knew very well that I couldn't. I just gave myself that confidence. I'm a Korean speaker no matter where I went, I spoke like that. And I was really bad, but it was changing. Like, I was not good for a couple years, but I changed my inner thought process to training my mind to thinking that way. And I think it's really key.
The white lies that you heard were encouragement for you to do better.
From myself.
I think he told himself.
I told myself.
I think we're mixing, we're confused between positive thinking and white lies. Positive thinking is not white lies. Positive thinking is just an encouragement and reinforcement.
You just put the combo there.
You know? So it's something that you like tell other people and yourself, right? It's not necessarily bad. But white lies is just a lie.
You think all,
and it is misleading.
All lies are bad?
To a certain extent. Yeah.
To
I
a certain
think the
extent,
truth
I
think the truth is better than lies. I think
I have to bring this to an end because we've hit bullseye. So we hit bullseye, and it's another victory for the yes team. Well done.
You convinced us.
Yes, you convinced them. So now, of course, we have to come to one statement that we can all agree on. Hopefully, this will be easy, less painful, brutally honest. Okay. So, Danny, you had a very simple, concise statement to begin with, right?
To begin with, yes.
And what was that?
Some lies are kind.
Yes.
Well, we do think that some lies are kind.
Some lies are unkind.
We do think that generally, that telling the truth is the best option. And then, in certain situations, a little lie cannot hurt.
Agreed. So some lies,
We would
that's the
agree
key
with
word.
some
no?
anyway.
Some lies are
very
kind.
broad. I mean, but if we just kept some lies are kind, it just seems a little.
I agree that honesty is
fine,
the
yeah.
best policy.
Yeah. Honesty is the best policy.
Start with the truth then. So telling the truth is best. What can we add to this?
But some lies are
Some
kind.
lies are kind. Yeah.
Wow.
That's it. We have our
And
answer
you will
then.
get a lot of Christmas gifts.
Yeah. Angelina and Santa Claus, yeah. So we have a statement. To Shooter's question was, are some lies kind? And Shooter's answered, telling the truth is best, but some lies are kind. And that's our show for this week. See you again next time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well done.
No, it's very diplomatic.
Sorry about the show. I didn't mean it.